Welcome to I'ma Talk About It. I'm Alicia E., empowerment coach and ancestral healer, and I'm here to teach you how to break generational cycles, self-advocate, and ascend to happiness without the guilt of wanting a better life for yourself. You don't have to choose the same path as those before you. You can choose a better way, your way. Because if we can each heal ourselves today, we can heal the world tomorrow together.
Welcome back, everyone. My fabulous awakened souls, my fiery fucking souls. Today, oh my freaking gosh, we are going to talk about the dark feminine and alchemizing sacred rage. I'm so fucking excited to talk about this because honestly, I feel like this is one of my favorite parts of spirituality and energy work, aside from obviously doing all the ancestral healing and healing generations and releasing trauma. This is like one of the biggest parts of spirituality that can create the largest amount of change, and we just don't talk about it. So we're going to talk about how fucking powerful it is right now, and how we're actually seeing a rise of the dark feminine come out a lot in people. And as a reminder, the feminine and masculine are not gender based. We as people have misinterpreted that information. So when I say masculine feminine or like dark feminine, it's something that lives in everybody. It's just something that has a duality. So two parts of a whole that, yeah, exist in everybody. Um, and within the energy lives the dark femme, and it's exactly how it sounds. Well, yeah, kind of. It's how it sounds. It's kind of darker. It's broodier. I personally think it's cooler. Um, because I also like to live all up in my shadow and my dark feminine side. It's just a part of who I am. I secretly think maybe in my past lives I was some sort of warrior. But anyways, the dark femme. So what exactly is it? Um it's the parts of us that I would consider to be a little bit more reactionary. It's the anger, it's the upset, it's the outrage we feel when we, look at the news, for instance. It's the feelings you experience when someone like fucks with your boundaries or is a repeat offender of fucking with your boundaries. It's the anger that comes out when you get sick of something, like a repeated behavior, either from yourself or from other people, for example. And I will just give an example of what the dark feminine kind of looks like or may masquerade as. And I'm sure many of you have felt this before, but in my last job, for anyone who is new, I was treated pretty poorly in the last couple of jobs, actually. My pay was super low, specifically in one of my older jobs. And I was alienated all the time and treated differently for being Black. And I was sexualized for being a female. And I wasn't fucking taken seriously most of the time because I wasn't, and I'm doing air quotes, one of the boys. And every single day, I would hate going to my job, and I would stuff the pain away and the sadness and the anger because having experienced oppression my entire life, I was taught to accept abuse because, it's just is what it is. Like, I feel like there was a point in time for earlier generations to take it for what it is. I think there's a lot of change going on right now, and as someone a part of the Black community, like, yeah, some things are like exactly how they appear, but now I'm going to choose to remove myself from situations. I'm not choosing to stay in those situations. I'm not choosing to stay in that abuse. And even though, like, at my job, I was experiencing rage inside, I didn't do anything with it because I was kind of taught to not do anything with it. You just kind of deal with it. Um, and eventually that rage that sat within me kind of festered away and turned into depression and sadness and severe anxiety. It would even turn into like shit talking sometimes, like excessively or going too far. Um, and sometimes I would just be angry just because I was angry. And there's like two parts of the whole anger part, because sometimes you can pick up on other people's anger. We can talk about energy later, but I would just be overly angry for certain situations for no good reason. Or I could definitely be angry, but just be way too angry. And mind you, newsflash, oppression isn't new. So all of these suppressed feelings had been inside me and happening for so long, since I was tiny, like absolutely a teeny tiny human. And one day, my sacred rage, just decided to come flying the fuck out of me at a very inconvenient time, but also convenient. I'll explain that later. So I metaphorically, in my life during that time when I was working for this really shitty job, I started to metaphorically burn shit down. Like, not just burn shit down like in my career, but like burn shit down in all parts of my life. Like, I quit my job. I then took legal action. I stopped talking to certain family members who were consistently harming me or fucking wasting my time. I dumped friends who fucking gaslit me. Like, I had one friend in particular who I was really close with, but they would consistently ghost me and then text me randomly like, oh my god, I miss you, I'm at this like really cool event and you're not here, like kind of shit like that. And they one day decided to tell me when I got angry, like, oh, Alicia, you always respond like this. And I'm like, respond like what? Angry? Outraged? Like, I'm fucking mad. Don't try and gaslight me and act like this isn't going on. Like, what you did isn't shitty and what you haven't been doing for years isn't shitty. So I dumped friends like that who were causing a lot of harm to me. I ended up getting a divorce as well. I moved. I like got an apartment that I loved. I bought a new car. And the most amazing part is like the sacred rage that was inside of me that I didn't know what to call it then was extremely transformational for creating all of this change, like the literal change. So some of the most like wave makers, as I've talked about before, change makers, leaders you see in the news who are really trying to heal the world have all had fucking moments of this, of like, I'm over this. This has to be stopped. Like, no more fucking nonsense. Like, everybody's had that moment that has been the catalyst for them to create massive change. Like, not like teeny tiny change, like massive fucking change. And you will see them when people go toe to toe with them. Like, what is Greta? Yeah. When people go toe to toe with them, they are so rooted in, and you will see their sacred rage come out, and like very transformational information starts coming out, and a very strong boundary starts to come out as well. And you know, like, the truth of the matter is, like, if you're not fucking outraged or upset when people are triggering you, like hurting you, or about racism, like, you're likely living in a delusion. Like, it's a little delusional. Like, those things are hurtful, and yeah, you can respond a certain way, but it's also normal and perfectly natural to feel angered and to feel pain. And when someone tries to even gaslight me, like, I feel that my sacred rage like comes out as, I'm so fucking entitled to be angry right now. Don't even try to fucking guilt me. Like, that's literally verbatim the phrase that I've taught myself, because I find that as someone who's really vocal and as someone who is okay with expressing anger and realize that people hold it within themselves, like, I do not like when people try to make me shove my anger away because it makes them uncomfortable. So I have that phrase of like, you cannot guilt me into being softer because it makes you uncomfortable. Like, we are more than entitled to be angry about things that hurt us. Because without sacred rage and the dark feminine, like, I wouldn't have been able to create the lasting change that I have in my life today and that I wanted to see in my life. Like, I wouldn't have been able to start my Fire as Fuck business so I can help other people do the same and to create change and work in the DEI realm for what I did and like women's wellness and equal rights. Like, I wouldn't have been able to do that. I also wouldn't have been able to finally get the fire under my ass to leave abusive situations that I didn't know how abusive they were in the moment. Like, my sacred rage was what tipped me over the edge. Like, being with a partner who would be like, you need me. And then that fucking rage just came flying up out of my body to help me get out of there. Like, walking arm in arm with Kali on my side, like, let's do it, you know, like, get the fuck out of here. And I wouldn't have been able to articulate boundaries that people had crossed or have like healthy goodbyes, which fucking exist. BTW. Ask a therapist about it. Like, I wouldn't have been able to say bye to people in the way that I did that was also healthy and motivated in the fact that I wanted better for myself. Like, that sacred rage was like, when people say like light the fire under your ass, like, that is what the sacred rage and the dark feminine do. Like, they're like, okay, burn it all down. Like, you want to get something done, you just tap into that energy. So I just want to say to everybody, like, never be afraid of the rage or the anger inside of you, because you can alchemize that to create the life you want and make an impact on the world. Like, wholeheartedly, you can make an impact on the world. Like, we need the dark feminine to do generational work. Like, this shit is so rooted deeply that the dark feminine is the strongest catalyst and contains the most amount of fire and momentum and honesty and authenticity that it's needed for the amount of change that we need today. So for the folks who are like, I'm fucking over dealing with people who can't just get it together, because I know that for myself multiple times in my life, like, I came to that crossroads of like, is it me? Am I smoking something? Are people acting weird? Like, as I was taking responsibility for my actions and it became like another language to me, it became easy for me to do. I realized how fucking often like people don't take responsibility for their actions. So it became really difficult for me to engage with a lot of people who were uncomfortable with me even saying no to them. Like, if someone's on the other side of you and you say no to them and they fucking shrink, or they like take it out on you, it's like, you know, they're not great at probably regulating their emotions, but also receiving no, and probably have other fucking things going on. And then sometimes people will just project it on you. So for all the folks who are like, you know, I'm just fucking over dealing with people who can't get it together and feel like they're needing a fresh start, like, let this be your invitation to use that fuel inside of you to create the change that you want in your life. Like, you can take that dark feminine or that sacred rage and channel it into love, because that's what's also most important. Is a lot of people are so scared of being angry or letting themselves feel rage because it feels bad. Like, they think it's bad, but it's really not bad at all. Like, it's natural. It's just what you do with it. Like, if you are using that rage or that anger or that pain to inflict harm on someone else, then yeah, it's fucking bad. But if you are using that rage and that dark feminine within you to burn shit down that has been hurting you in like the deepest sign of self-love or love for someone or for yourself, then no, it's not bad. People forget that love and rage can be intertwined. Like, me getting out of those situations and setting those boundaries was the biggest sign of love that I could give to myself, because I loved myself and I wasn't allowing myself to love myself because I was allowing abuse. I was just allowing it in, like being in these situations, not speaking up for myself, like spending money when I really didn't want to spend it, like being with someone who told me I needed them, and like trying to keep me quiet, and like, you know, like all of this stuff, like that's not love. Putting up with people you don't like is not love. It's not love for them, and it's not love for you. Like, you're not showing yourself love, but you're also being inauthentic with the other people who are across from you. Like, I've had conversations where, you know, it wasn't that like I hated them. I didn't like how we got along. And I had to tell them, like, I can't give you the love that I believe every person deserves. Like, I can't love you the way you want me to love you and that you should be receiving, because I'm so angry. Like, I'm so resentful. And you deserve to be happy and I deserve to be happy. So let's just, you know, take our rage elsewhere, let it out, and find love, right? Like, I think people forget to close the loop on a lot of transitions in their life, right? Like, if you're really angry and you left your job, like, find a way to close that loop for yourself. Like, let that shit go somehow and thank yourself for getting out of there. And then find something you do love as a thank you to yourself. Like, we have to be able to mend and heal ourselves from a place of compassion. Otherwise, our rage or our anger will just run rampant. And honestly, like, I did everything I could while I was in these other situations to let out my rage. Like, I was exercising, I was going to kickboxing, doing lots of visualizations on that fucking punching bag, and I was throwing that bag all over the fucking room, right? But like, eventually I got to a place where it was, I love myself too much to be doing this to myself. And now I'm just angry at you. And now I'm going to take it out on you. So I need to leave. Right? So you have to be able to channel it into love, because love is what's going to be able to heal you, to bring you back around, to ground you back into your body and what you want and into your soul. And there were times when I even started my business where my partner took me to what was called a rage room, where they just like put a bunch of junk in a room and you smash it. Like, you smash it with everything you've got. You're covered up and you just go for it. And I wasn't even mad then, but I was like frustrated, because building a business can be frustrating and no one taught me how to do that. And so, like, parts of me were like, why couldn't this be easy? And so I needed to do what I needed to do and work my shit out in a rage room, right? Like, after that, I literally slept for 3 fucking days, which is why you need to be able to let it out of your body. Like, let it out safely and maybe wildly if you choose so, in a way that is, again, safe. Or else it will literally eat you alive. Like, that anger will come out when you're talking to someone accidentally. It'll come out when you're tired. It'll come out when you honestly don't mean to and you don't understand why it's there. It will come out unless you do something about it. And I just want to say that if you are experiencing feelings like this sometimes, like, you're absolutely normal. Like, honestly, if you feel upset about any situation that is triggering you, sit there for a moment and be like, oh, I'm about to change this into some really fucking powerful shit. Like give yourself that invitation and be like, oh, you want to see change? You want to see change? And then create change from a place of love and use that fire to fuel you through that transformation and allow yourself to move through it and allow yourself to let it go. And also use that energy from the dark feminine and sacred rage to set boundaries for what you then will never be accepting back into your life again. And also set boundaries to what you want to accept in your life. Like everything from a place of love. What are you willing to accept into your life? And what are you saying fuck no to in your life? Like you can use that energy to do that. Like that is why some people say never again, right? That is that boundary, or being like, and the next time I'm going to find this and this and this and this and this because this is what's going to feel supportive. Because if you keep saying no to things, you're going to feel like you're trapped. But if you give yourself a reason to accept things back into your life, you're going to feel supported. You're going to energetically attract and magnetize what you actually want into your life. Like if you left someone and you were like, I'm never fucking dating someone who treats me like blah, 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 blah. Then you follow it up with, I'm going to find someone who loves me, who treats me well, who stands by my side, who is there cheering me on, who isn't afraid of their feelings, who doesn't feel like they have to keep up with the Joneses, right? So then you have clarity to move forward. Otherwise, you're moving forward from a place of anger without direction. Like you have no direction, no clarity, and you're more likely to get lost. You're more likely to get depressed. But if you give yourself a chance to be like, I know what I want and this is what I want, and then give yourself permission to feel that, you will automatically bring something really amazing into your life after that. And that's exactly what I teach my clients, of like having the follow through at the end. Like we cannot break behaviors unless you have a plan. Like my 3-step thing that I always teach people, the last step is have a plan. Like that's how you break the cycle. If you don't want to do something anymore, you have to have a plan of how you're going to not do it and what you're going to do instead, right? Like it literally all comes down to that. And also just remembering that like you are powerful. Like you have that sacred rage, you have that dark feminine, you also have the light, you also have all these other things in you. So don't let anything get in your way after that. Like you already went down that path. You don't have to worry about it coming back because you already told yourself it wasn't going to come back, right? Like it doesn't mean that you may be like you may stumble into another situation where you're like, what the fuck? Like this feels hella familiar, right? But you're going to recognize it and you're going to be like, oh no, honey, like I've done this before. I'm not doing that again. Like, nope. And then you're going to cut it off even earlier and you're going to get better and you're going to get better and you're going to get better. But you have to allow yourself that, right? Like nothing is going to get in the way of what you really want because you have those boundaries there for yourself. And I would just like to say, some of my most favorite people or like clients in general, like I fucking love working with the folks who like have that secret rage or leaning into the dark feminine, because when you start to do the generational work, it's like fucking boom. Like it is the coolest fucking thing. Like they take off because they're in that sweet spot of like they've already lit their flame and I'm gonna fucking throw gasoline on it. Like I'm gonna throw gasoline on it and then they're gonna keep throwing gasoline on it and they're just gonna like ascend to the place that they want to be in, that they've wanting to be in, because they have that catalyst within them. They probably got Kali all up and they're like, yeah, we about to do this, right? Or if you work with Saint Michael or whoever, you know what I mean? Like you got that energy of like, I'm gonna tear this shit down and then I'm gonna build it straight up, right? So y'all are some of my favorite people because you're not afraid to feel your emotions. Because I also feel like the people who sometimes come across as angry are already the most sensitive sometimes. Like they're the most fucking sensitive, every single time. Like, they don't want to get hurt usually, and that's why they're angry. And so they also don't always, at least for my clients, have an issue feeling their feelings because they're open to change already when they're in that transformational stage, and they're like, I'm just going to let it go. And they let go of the anger and they let go of the pain simultaneously, right? Because, like, they're clearing out for something better, right? Like, you can always have sacred rage because it'll come to you if you get triggered or if you see something that's really upsetting to you, but you don't want it to sit in your body and your energy, in your like aura forever, right? You got to be able to let it go. Otherwise, you're just adding shit to your bag that you really don't need. But yeah, I went on a tangent, but I just want to say, like, y'all are my favorite folks because it's just fucking fun. Like, the transformations that you see are just so fucking wild. And they just ascend to a powerful fucking person, to like a powerful being, because they just, yeah, they're unafraid. Like, I feel like what I've come across is a lot of times the people who are stuck in fear, like fearful of making big decisions, don't get angry. Like, they're trying too hard to fit in, to do the right thing, to like be good, that they can't get fucking angry. So then they're fearful. Like, their fear has like trapped them in this weird limbo where they're like, I just can't get past this. Like, it makes me so nervous. And it's like, because you're not letting out all your energy and now you're just stuck. Like, get angry, get sad, like, let that shit go. Make room, you know, like, find love. But sometimes there's anger with love, you know what I mean? And so I feel like it's actually harder sometimes to help people who are so fucking fearful, because you kind of have to like get them to express their emotions, and it takes a little bit longer. Where like the people who are just like going buck are like, I fucking express, so what? And then you got something to work with, right? But it's just an interesting observation. I love y'all so much, but I just want to say that, like, use that energy within you to create a transformation. Like, don't let it swallow you whole. Like, you deserve to be happy and loved and feel ease and feel at peace and feel grounded. So allow it to change your life for the better. And honestly, to anyone who tells you to be nice, like, tell them to fuck off. Like, I had a partner who also would tell me that I needed to be nice, or that maybe I should try being nicer. I was like, get the fuck out of here. Get out of here. Because, like, I am not something to stay in my line and like my lane and to be nice for you. Like, it ain't gonna happen. I'm mad because I was disrespected, right? So if someone has told you that, just shoo them on their way and go about your business. Go to your kickboxing, do whatever you need to do, but take care of yourself at the end of the day, and don't ever feel ashamed for feeling those feelings, because they are so fucking important to feel. Like, it's even okay to surround yourself with other people who get angry, like, as long as they have a healthy outlet and they come to a solution, because you don't want to be around people who are just angry all the time. But if you have trouble expressing, like, be around people who express more. Like, you might learn something from them if it's comfortable for you. Because at the end of the day, if you're keeping it all in your body, like, you're gonna get burned out, like really burned out and tired and frustrated, and you don't deserve that. So keep that in mind and stand in your power, and let's fucking create change, y'all. And I'm actually gonna end it here right now, but before I go, I would just want to say that for all my fiery femmes, or even non-fiery femmes who are ready to alchemize their sacred rage, to break the fucking chains of oppression and radically reclaim their power, I need you to join my Empowered Femme Initiation that starts on March 21st. So it's coming up really soon. Do not drag your feet. Call on Kali or your sacred rage or whatever it is to show up in this program. because it's a 90-day group journey to really help you shift from feeling angry or upset or fearful to feeling fierce and focused, so that you can become literally an earth-shaking fucking empowered femme that you've always wanted to be, right? That like focus, know what you want, get what you want, magnetize, and live in abundance, right? Like live in peace, live in love, like live in happiness. And I just want to say that this is for anyone who also just feels called to change their life for the better. Like this is a beautiful, beautiful journey for people who also don't quite know what they want, but they know they need change and they want to make an impact on their life and be a better person. Like be the person that they would like to see, right? Or the people you didn't have in your life, be that person for yourself, right? Because you're gonna rid yourself of oppressive thoughts like fear and self-doubt that have kept you from chasing the life that you want, or living the life that you want, or embodying the beliefs that you really want to embody down to your soul, right? So you'll be taking a journey to self-love, to feel comfortable as fuck in your own skin. You're gonna align your mind, body, and spirit so you can align with your purpose. And you'll also learn to create generational wealth. Like we're gonna create a plan together to get you started down that route, because it is really important as an empowered femme, because money has been taken away from us for so long, that you learn how to be with money and hold the energetic capacity of the money you want to hold. And lastly, we're going to fucking bring it home with a Phoenix Rising ritual that is going to be so fire, that's going to help you embody your highest self and live in this new beautiful timeline that you have created, that you have called in, that is now with you, right? You're going to live that life. So I want you to be there. You do not want to miss it. There's already some people in the group, and it's going to be a limited group because I want to make sure that the people who are there to create change, and I want to give them the attention and energy that they desire. So you can literally reserve your spot for $444. Like it's literally like teeny tiny pennies. So reserve your spot for $444. I will leave the link in the show notes for you to click. And again, spots are limited. And even for my own empowerment, like I'm limiting it because like I want to be able to get to know you, and I want to be able to help you heal on this 90-day journey with the community. So spots are limited. Click the link below. It will be in the show notes, and I am going to sign off. Thank you all again for showing up for yourself and showing up for me. I hope that you found value in this discussion, and I look forward to sharing the rest of the episodes with you. And that is a wrap, my friends.
Hey, if you're ready to ascend to happiness and live the life you've always wanted, join me in my Empowered Living Facebook group for socially conscious healers, witches, and spirituals, and sign up to get my free Empowered 5 Practices to Ascended Happiness guide. It's helped others expand their consciousness and soar beyond sight, sound, and imagination in just one day. It's the catalyst you need to embrace your magic and change the world. Just click the link in the show notes, and I'll see you in the group next time.